Ready?
The meeting will come to order. Council agenda, Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, regular Township Council meeting of December 19th, 2017.
Posting of notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December 21st, 2016, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record on December 27, 2016, and the Newark Star Ledger on December 27, 2016, and was forwarded by fax to the local newspapers and local radio stations on December 21, 2016. Council meetings are videotaped and aired on Cablevision, Public Access Channel 21 at 11 o'clock a.m. on Sundays, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net.
Thank you. Can everyone please stand for the flag salute? Mr. DeZero.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Khalid, roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Ms. Grignani?
Present.
Mr. Peluso?
Present.
Mr. Valori?
Present.
Also in attendance are Mayor James Barbario, Township Council Justin Marquetta, Business Administrator Ellen Sandman, CFO Ann Cucci, and Township Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank you, Khalid. Upcoming meetings, January 2nd, 2018. That'll be 7 o'clock p.m. That'll be the reorganization and agenda meeting. January 23rd, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. That'll be our regular meeting. We're going to move on to presentations and reports. Mayor?
Before you begin, Mayor, I just want to let you know that the second honoring Mayor Henry Luther has been postponed until further notice.
Thank you.
All right, Darrell? Now we have a presentation for 50 years of service to District 3 Fire, Darrell Lee Jenkins. Congratulations. I think when you started, Gabe was in his 35th year, right? All right.
Trying to get uniforms. It's been ever since.
I know. Okay, I'm proud to read this. The Township of Parsippany Troy Hills Proclamation. Whereas Darrell Lee Jenkins, a dedicated and skilled firefighter, joined the Lake Parsippany Fire Company, District Number 3, on August 17, 1967. And whereas Darrell Jenkins has provided 50 years of faithful and honorable service as a member of District 3 and has taken his sense of service to his community to an even higher level by serving in all other positions, including chief from 1972 to 1974, and from 1983 to 1985, and as a commissioner from 2003 to present. He has continually demonstrated bravery, professionalism, and commitment to the community. And whereas Darrell Jenkins serves as a delegate to the 106th, 129th, 131st, 132nd, and 134th Annual Convention of the State Firemen's Association. He is currently chairman of the Firemen's Relief Association, and whereas Darrell Jenkins exemplifies all the attributes of a selfless human being, foregoing his own wants, needs, and desires in order to serve residents and businesses of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills for 50 years. And whereas the recipient of the Outstanding Civic Contributor and President's Award, Darrell Jenkins, has demonstrated his further responsibility and service to the community as a volunteer with the Boy Scouts of America and Little League Baseball. And whereas Darrell Jenkins, the proud husband of Carol, father of Darrell Jr. and Scott, proud grandfather of Christopher, Ryan, and Emily, has earned the respect of his family, friends, and colleagues. Now therefore, I, James R. Barbario, the Mayor of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, do hereby acknowledge the important contribution made by Darrell Lee Jenkins and express sincere appreciation and gratitude for 50 years of loyal service as a firefighter in Lake Parsippany Fire District Company Number 3, dated this 19th day of December 2017. Congratulations, Darrell, and thank you for your service. Thank you you so much. Would you like to say anything? Or? No? Oh, you're never quiet. Let's do it. Well, thank you, Darrell.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
This is for you, buddy. You can take it with you.
Congratulations. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you again. Mike, he passed you. You have 40 on the council, right? He's got 10 over you.
I'm not done yet.
You're not done yet, you're right.
He's got 10 more to go.
That's it.
Plus one.
If anyone in the back would like to move up, you may so.
After 50 years, we can wait a few more minutes.
Exactly, yes.
Absolutely.
No rush.
Absolutely.
Let them take all the
That's a
pictures they
commitment.
want. That's terrific. Nope, you gotta pick up his pants. That's good. What is he, Mercedes?
Absolutely.
Late 70s, mid to late 70s. It's probably got on the job for fire department.
She made copies because I think it's on here.
Okay,
It's
okay,
underneath
yeah,
it.
maybe late teenager, early 20s. Okay,
I believe
beautiful.
so.
My father's been there 43,
What is the
Oh my
last?
gosh. That's good. Guess that's his wife.
I figured it was all there. But she really, it was her, not him.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. She knew it was important.
Clear to Mike. Clear to proceed?
You're clear.
Okay, great. Okay. I don't want to be disrespectful over there. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to Township Attorney. Anything to report?
No report, Council President.
Okay. To our council members, anything to report?
I have something to add. Michael, you want to go first, or?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Just wanted to wish everybody a good evening and happy holidays. This is my last regular council meeting, and I'll miss serving our community as a councilman after this meeting. As they say, every ending is a new beginning. I was elected by good people of Parsippany Troy Hills as your councilman and honored by our peers here on council to become the council vice president for 2 terms. I accept this responsibility with the objective of serving our community. I have done my best to always be accountable to the public. In my 4 years, the public has shown great faith in me, and I wish to express my heartfelt thanks and for your support. I'd also like to thank my wife, my son, and my parents for their relentless support as well. Through them, I have been gifted through the courage to follow my heart and my tuition. I have sought to make the right decisions, and I believe I have been successful. Working with the members of the council, I am proud that we have held the line on taxes and expenses and preserved open space, and I was part of a team here that enabled Parsippany to be ranked 5th best place to live in the United States. I believe in Parsippany, I believe in our community. When I was campaigning earlier on the trail this year, I was overwhelmed by the support I received. Many of you have expressed your concerns that you wanted to continue and see me serve the public in a capacity that would meet the needs of the public. I am honored. I assure you that I will passionately continue to serve the public and stand ready to assist our families, our businesses, and our volunteer organizations. I love Parsippany and Morris County, and I feel honored to have been taken the opportunity to serve the public here. I'll continue to do everything in my power to help our great communities. Thank you very much on behalf of myself and my family for your support. Please continue to work with me as I will continue my journey in addressing the needs of our community. God bless you and have a great holiday. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Mr. DePiero, did you have anything to say, sir?
No, I was going to say my thank yous at the end of the meeting,
Okay.
but since Mr. Paluso's already mentioned it, I know this is your last meeting and Mr. Paluso's, and so I was going to thank the two of you for your service to the township, for a job well done.
Thank you
Michael.
very much.
Thank
you.
I'd also like to echo that. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Well, last but not least, I too want to thank you for having me on this council and working with me, and I working with you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for your teamwork. Thank you.
I'll be a little bit different. We have another council meeting on the 27th, special council meeting.
Will be on the 27th. We will be posting it soon. Probably the end of this week it will be posted. And as with all special meetings, in the ad it will list what will be discussed at that time.
I'll be here with my colleagues, and I'll have a few ending words also. Thank you. Anybody else would like to say anything in regards to council moments? Okay. Business Administrator? Ellen?
I'm going to take the opportunity also at this time, and then I'll maybe do it on the 27th.
That'd be
because,
great.
again, as you know, they finally let me kiss that Blarney Stone, so I can certainly talk with the best of them. You know, it's a pleasure working. You know, there's rough spots, there's tough spots, but I think in the end, there was a lot of good things that have come from this group and working with you. I've enjoyed maybe not every moment, but a lot of the moments, you know, because it's not easy going through and doing what you guys and gals have to do. And it's been a joy to work with you and hone out really the best product for Parsippany, its residents and its people. And it's been good. It's been a good ride. So I've really enjoyed my time here.
Thank you.
I would like to state again, one of the other things that we came upon a couple of years ago was the overwhelming outstanding monies that were owed to us back from FEMA. I can report this evening that we will be receiving $1,439,000. They passed that last night through the FEMA offices, and we should be getting that in our account. So if you see that hit watch that money come through. Again, I would also be remiss if I didn't state for the record, these things obviously don't just happen. The accolades and the heavy lifting go to the engineering department and the purchasing department. Ann and I assist the finance and administration offices work together, but truly the heavy lifting was done through the engineering and the purchasing department. So the other things that I have can be related to if you have any questions or just clarity on this. There's a lot of information here. We are trying to do our best to give more detailed synopsis of what is contained. So if you have any additional questions when those things come up, we'll be happy to address it then.
Thank you, Ellen.
Okay, thanks.
Move on to our CFO.
It's hard to follow Ellen on that. But I too would like to thank you, and I learned a lot, I have to say, and it's been a real pleasure. I look forward to one more meeting. It's hard to put into words the amount of work that we've done together, and my growth here, and I thank you for that. I thank you for letting me serve with you. I have some good news as well. We did go out for some special emergency notes. We do that just to make sure that our fund balance is free for us to use if we need it, God forbid. And it was $1.6 million this year. And interesting, Passaic Valley Water Commission bid on it, which gave me some thoughts as to why aren't we bidding on some of this stuff. So I put our name in the hat to bid on some other municipalities and their small notes, because they're getting 2% from us. Why aren't we getting 2% from them? So you'll be seeing a little bit of action on my side for investments. So that's the good news, a 1-year note. And the other thing is I did put something in the package explaining the Garden State GIF recommendation. I'm not sure. I hope you got a chance to read it. If you have any questions, let me know. I've been working closely with them, not only with this town, but with another town, and they've really saved us quite a bit of money, and I'd like to really recommend them. They came very close to the other GIF, but we have a very good working relationship, and they've really worked well with us. And we save a lot of money when it comes to training. They provide all the training as part of the cost. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to compliment Ann on the package. It does have a letter written by her to highlight all the special parts that make up the difference between the difference in money of approximately $19,000. It pales to what the savings are, and also the that training and that we get at really, it's included in our premium. So that goes much. So that letter is well written and is in there with another letter written by the then at the time the risk manager to all the reasons that he believes this is the place to stay with, and we are with Garden State. So yeah, I commend you for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for that suggestion. That was a great suggestion. Thinking outside the box, good teamwork. With the anticipation notes, there's differences. One's qualified by the banks, one is not bank qualified.
Right.
So you may want to look at also if the municipality is over their new debt requirement for the year, that they're bank qualified.
Yeah, we have to be in the cash management plan. That'll be in there this
Great.
year, a little bit tweaked,
job.
and we have to be careful. So you're absolutely right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. Move on to our township clerk. Clint.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Since this is the last regular meeting and I am your clerk, I do feel this is the most appropriate time to do this. I do want to thank you for allowing me to serve you guys and for working with you guys. Lou, it's been truly a pleasure to work with you as Council President.
Thank you, and same here.
And Robert, it has been truly a pleasure working with you as Council Vice President. And at this time, I just want to present a certificate of recognition from me and my staff for Councilman Robert Peluso and Councilman Lou Valori. So this is for you guys, just showing our appreciation from me and my staff. It's been signed by
thank
us,
you.
and so this is
Thank
for the
you
both
very
of
much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Well, that's very nice.
Oh.
Yeah, stand up.
Okay,
Yeah.
here, let me get my Rob.
Yeah,
here.
get Rob.
Pull in the middle here. In the middle.
Are we competing here?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anna.
Yeah. Mine and Ann's recognition is in the mail. You'll be getting it shortly. The mail's been a little slow.
Thank you. Thanks, bud. Very nice.
No, that's nice. Yeah, very nice. Good job, Colette.
Ellen, was that sent by UPS?
Yeah. Very good.
Great.
Federal Express.
That was one of our great accomplishments this year.
Absolutely.
Clint, anything else?
That's all, Council President. Thank you.
Great. We're going to move on to the committee reports. Any reports to end out the year? No reports? Okay, we're going to go to bids to be taken. December 13th, 2017, operation of pro shops and provisions of golf professional and related services at Knoll Country Club. To be taken, quotations, proposal, qualifications, none. We're going to move on to the public hearing. I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Peluso, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Peluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is open to the public.
Great. If there's anyone from the public like to come forward, please come forward. You have 3 minutes?
Yes.
You could come first if you like. Last time I saw you, we were at the prom, the senior prom. That was a great event.
I hope they have it again next year. I think the seniors, I hope the township has that senior prom again. It was a great event, and I
It
think,
was better last year, we were talking about it. There was
Okay.
something about,
all right, well, let's hope it goes forward. Let's hope it goes forward.
but it's a good event,
room for
Yes, it is.
especially for us old who look young.
Very much.
Good evening, lady and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Several months ago, I was here and discussed the back door being open for the handicap spots that are back there. So tonight, there was no parking spaces. I parked in the back. It was locked. Thank you for the nice walk on a cool evening. I'm back again about the snow. We have had.
Hey, Beverly, can you speak into the mic, please? Can you speak into the mic, just so we have you on the record?
Is it on?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on,
there you
yeah.
go. When
That's
you're-
good,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Great.
better.
I will be heard. We've had several freak snowstorms, including last week, which was ice. It isn't pleasant going out and shoveling in that kind of situation. And so many of our people are not shoveling. It isn't fair to those of us who do it. There are over 1,000 fire hydrants on private home property. And it isn't fair for those of us who dig it out when others say, oh, it isn't being enforced, so why do it? Just ride around the streets sometime. I'm not a kid. I don't enjoy shoveling, and I don't enjoy shoveling in the weather. Something has got to be done about people who are not shoveling, whether the sidewalks are used or not. You have spent a fortune putting safety on those orange bubbly things on the cutouts on the street. Those aren't being shoveled out, and the town is dumping snow on them. We're talking about a safety issue. We're also talking about lives. You saw what just happened in Rockland County with the fires. We got to do something about compliance. I have been afraid to go away in the wintertime because of the $1,200 a day fine that you have hanging over my head. I'm an old lady. Thank God I move. I don't like it. And I don't like that door being locked and not me having to walk or anybody else having to walk. It's windy out. Please, in all fairness, look, when it's even been pointed out that you never answer me, you never say something's going to be done about it, we're going to look into it. I don't come here for amusement. I come here to speak for people who don't know how, don't want to, or are afraid. But I'm getting tired. You're all nice people. I laugh with you and I joke with you. But shoveling snow last week was not fun. It was a horrible situation. When you did the brining for the snow before that, it worked wonders. Thank you for that.
You have
But-
1 minute, ma'am.
Excuse me?
You have 1 minute. You have 1 minute left. Thank
Is
you.
this chatter in the 1 minute? When are you going to do something about it? When are you going to recognize that I have been coming here for about 6 or 7 years about the same situation? Oh, in that 1 minute, I heard a fire engine. I heard the sirens. They did it once before in the snow. Santa Claus came down the street with the firemen. If the firemen have time to take Santa Claus around the town, Don't they have time to help the seniors in this town and the people who are disabled comply with the law that you people enacted and is not being enforced? Would you please do something about it? Please?
Thank you. Great job, thank you. Anybody else from the public like to come forward? Just please sign in and state your name. Thank you.
Ellen, in regards to the rear door, can we just look into?
Colette.
I actually
that's-
have been
that's not
unlocking
locking.
it for every single time. This is the one day, honestly, I honestly came in a little late and forgot to unlock it. And, you know, I've been doing it specifically for you, Beverly, and, you know, I said I've been unlocking that back door every meeting. This is the one time I actually I forgot to unlock it, so I do apologize to you for that.
The first time I haven't come in here smiling.
We'll make sure you come in smiling next time.
You never know when I'm gonna pop up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pat Pataccio, 182 Hawkins Avenue. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you all for your service
Thank you.
and for those leaving. I do appreciate it, no matter what you think. Now, a couple of things I do have questions on. One of the things last week, I was listening over to the tape of the last meeting. There was a question regarding the allowance of releasing the Karifi information when the case is not totally litigated yet. There's still one more portion of it that needs to be done. I don't know if this is still on the record that you are going to do this, but I found it to be a waste of time and a waste of taxpayers' money. The reason being is that the attorney now has to make up this statement or whatever, give it to the new attorney, then they're going to release another one which is going to be redacted, so that's another expense, and then the new administration's going to come in and do what they want to do anyway, so that's double the expense. But the point in matter truly being the fact that I have been on this case since day one. I have asked at the time, at the end of different litigations, to get some answers.
Yeah, you gotta speak to the mic. It's on.
Yeah, it's on. You just gotta.
I have, over
There it
the
goes.
years that this has been going on, asked for information after the smaller cases have been done. And I was always told, no, we're still in litigation. If this is done, and you do this, you just totally lied to me throughout the time that Mr. Inglesino has been sitting up there. It seems that when he wants to do something, it is okay to do, whether it be legal or not, whether litigation is completed or not. This is something he wants to do, and he's going to get you guys to do it for him. I think if you do this, it's a disgrace to your community. I think you should wait until this whole thing gets settled, because there's a lot more to come out. And I think this is just being vindictive. I think Mr. Inglesino is trying to save face in Mayor Barbario. That is my honest opinion. And Justin, I've noticed Mr. Inglesino hasn't been here, so please relay that message to him for me. Thank you.
1 minute.
And now the other thing is that, you know, if we're going to go for transparency and everything, come on. I asked a question about Mayor Barbario's employment with the township. If we're going to release information on the Karifi case, I want that information released to me regarding Mayor Barbario's employment with the township of Parsippany. Let's not talk about transparency. If you can't show everybody everything, don't show anybody anything. And I'm really happy that the ordinance from last week, that I heard Ellen say 5 times at least, she was not behind it, but yet you voted for it. I'm glad it was pulled. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Is there anyone else from the audience like to come forward? I see no one else like to come forward. I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Make a motion?
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, second by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Great. Moving on to ordinances. Mr. DePiero?
Ordinance 2017:27, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, Morris County, New Jersey, amending and revising Chapter 124, Construction Codes, Uniform, Section 124-5, Fees, and A445, Fees Compilation, Section A445-7, Building and Construction Fees of the Code of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills. Notice for the above ordinance was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, on December 8th, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the December 5th, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept that ordinance be heard in its second and final reading by title only.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to open the public hearing of ordinance 2017:27.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is open to the public on this ordinance only.
Anybody from the public like to come forward in regards to this ordinance and this ordinance only? I see no one's to come forward.
Motion to close the public hearing for this ordinance.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and the hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading, and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Paluso?
Ordinance number 2017:29, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, accepting the dedication of a portion, Block 136, Lot 44, as shown in the official tax map of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills for roadway purposes for Morris Corporate Center 6, LLC. The notice of the ordinance was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, on December 8, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the December 5, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept the ordinance 2017:29 be heard in its second and final reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, second by Mr. DePiero. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2017:29.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is open.
Anybody from the public like to come forward on this ordinance and this ordinance only? I see no one wants to come forward. I'd like to,
Motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2017:29.
Second.
motion made by Mr. Paluso, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mrs. Grignani?
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon. Now therefore be it resolved that the said ordinance be passed on final reading and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Karifi?
Ordinance number 2017:30, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, accepting an easement for Morris Corporate Center 6, LLC, on a portion of Block 136, Lot 44, as shown on the official tax map of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills for public access and sanitary sewer maintenance and ownership. The notice of the ordinance above was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, on December 8, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the December 5th, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept that ordinance 2017:30 be heard in its second and final reading by title only by myself.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, second by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call?
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion
At this
passes.
time, make a motion to open up a public hearing on this ordinance and this ordinance only.
Anybody
Second.
from the public? Oh, sorry. Motion made by Mr. Paluso. No, motion made by Mr. Karifi, second by Mr. Paluso. Roll call?
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is open on this ordinance only.
Anybody from the public like to come forward on this ordinance and this ordinance only?
See no one come forward, make a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, second by Mr. Paluso. Roll call?
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in a newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, second by Mr. Paluso. Roll call?
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mrs. Grignani?
Ordinance number 2017:31. An ordinance of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, accepting an easement from BT Property LLC on a portion of Block 136, Lot 43.3, as shown on the official tax map of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills for public access and sanitary sewer maintenance and ownership. The notice for the ordinance above was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, on December the 8th, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the December 5th, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept that ordinance 2017:31 be heard in its second and final reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, second by Mr. DePiero. Roll call?
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public hearing 2017:31. Motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2017:31 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call?
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is open on this ordinance only.
Anybody from the public like to come forward on this ordinance and this ordinance only? I see no one wants to. Make them
Motion.
go.
Motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2017:31 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call?
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Before we go on to the next one, about the next one, I just want to state for the record.
Ellen, they
Still
just
gotta
have to
finish.
finish.
Oh, I'm
the-
sorry.
yeah.
I apologize. I thought you were done. You were
It's
doing so
okay.
good there.
Are you
know.
keeping us on our toes here?
Yeah, I thought. All right.
Okay, all right.
Let's move it
Go on,
along.
Loretta.
Whereas
Sorry
the above
about that.
ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held therein, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call?
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes. Ellen?
Ellen?
Yeah, I just, sometimes I have to jump in and sometimes I
Okay.
do it just a little too soon.
All
I
right.
apologize for that. This is another thing that we've been working on and we're very pleased with this. With regard to the ordinance 32, it has to do with the fact that we did get approval from DCA to have the Fire District 1 build a new fire station.
Yes.
The significance to all of us is also, in addition to that, part and parcel of that building will house an ambulance
Yes.
and service that area. And we worked out a unique financing tool. We're calling it our condo, and we're paying over a period of time. So it'll be a pay-as-you-go for our part as far as the ambulance is concerned. But there was a little bit of heavy lifting that had to be done by a lot of people working together to get the approval from the DCA, and we just received that. So we're very pleased. So with your full support of this, we'll be moving forward for a new fire station and also a significant embellishment to our system of delivering our ambulance service to our public.
Great.
So,
Thank you
yeah,
for all
it's
your
good.
efforts.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
And it's my pleasure to offer that ordinance.
Okay.
2017:32, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, County of Morris, and State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of certain real property identified as Block 14, Lot 12.1 on the official tax map of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills to Parsippany Troy Hills Fire District Number 1. Notice for the ordinance above was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills on December 8th, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the December 5th, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept that ordinance 2017:32 be heard in its second and final reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mr. Paluso. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to open the public hearing for this ordinance.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mr. Paluso. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is open to the public on this ordinance only.
Anybody from the public like to come forward? If so, you have 3 minutes. I see no one else wants to come forward.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading, and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Paluso, non-consent agenda?
Colette, before we proceed on to Resolution 2017-180, just a question on bullet point 2, the January 9th meeting. Is that a typo?
That is a typo. It should say 2016 and not 2106. There might be a couple typos on there.
That's not the typo he was talking about.
No, that's not the one I'm referencing.
See what I mean?
Somebody on a fast typing finger.
We'll have to make those corrections.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so just note that there needs to be a correction on bullet 2. The agenda meeting will commence at 7:30, except the agenda meeting scheduled for January 9th. January 9th, I believe, is the incorrect date. I
It
believe
should be January 2nd.
2nd.
Wait. So I'm sorry, I apologize.
Oh, here it is.
You're referring to this resolution itself and not the agenda.
Right, the resolution itself.
Yeah, it should be January 2nd.
Yeah.
Yes,
January
that is
2nd,
correct.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just
Very
want to
good.
note that for the record, it should be January 2nd.
Okay.
Okay, continuing Resolution 2017-180, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, authorizing the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills schedule of Township Council meetings for 2018. Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, second by Mr. DePiero. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero? Ms.
Yes.
Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Karifi?
Resolution 2017-181, a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills approving the length of service award program certification list for the year, and that should read 2018.
Right.
Or
2016.
What's that?
We have it as 2016 on the resolution. It should read as 2017.
Should we
2017?
Yeah.
Yes,
17.
2017.
Okay.
Motion to approve the resolution made by myself.
Second.
Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, second by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mrs. Grignani?
Resolution 2017-182, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills awarding a contract for professional engineering services. Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, second by Mr. DePiero. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. DePiero?
Resolution 2017-183, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills authorizing an agreement with the County of Morris for fire and EMS dispatching services. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mr. Karifi. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Paluso?
Resolution 2017-184, it's an appropriation transfer. Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, second by Mr. DePiero. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Creepy?
Resolution 2017-185, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills to cancel unexpended dedicated balances of general capital appropriations. Motion to approve the resolution made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Creepy, second by Mr. Paluso. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Resolution,
Okay.
Resolution 2017-186. Resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills to cancel unexpended dedicated balances of sewer capital appropriations. Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, second by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
May
Consent
I just
agenda?
add something to that
Yeah.
quickly? That was one of our efforts, continued efforts to clean up some of the capital that was not expended or not financed that we promised we would do with the sewer. So we're really proud to be able to do that. I just wanted to add that because I know some of the people out there were looking for us to do that. So
And that amount is?
6 million
Yeah.
this year. Last year it was about 12 million. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. No, it's important because that was something that was asked and we're working on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. Mr. DePiero?
Be it resolved that all items listed with an asterisk are routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mrs. Grignani, the closed session?
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss Carriffy matters, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills that the public be excluded from this meeting. Motion to adjourn into public session.
Into closed session.
It's a
Closed
Second.
session, I'm sorry.
Second.
Closed session.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, second by Mr. DePiero. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Abstain.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
The motion passes. We will be going into public closed session.
Why don't you do it to keep
Yes.
everybody occupied?
I might ask her to do that.
The board's gonna have to go back into open session?
Yes.
Okay.
So on the record.
Motion to reconvene into open session.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, second by Mr. DePiero. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
We're back in open session.
Great. Justin, if you could say a few words, so.
Certainly, thank you, Council
Yes,
President.
respond.
Just to summarize the issue that was discussed in closed session, a concern has been raised by members of the governing body as it pertains to Councilman Carriffy's ability to vote on professionals and attorneys appointed by the incoming administration, as they may impact litigations pertaining to his brother. Because my firm is currently involved in the litigation of those matters, our recommendation was for the council to retain one of the special counsel on the list for the township for conflict matters. A resolution has been presented for that purpose. I believe all the council members have it.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Khalid, what I'll do is, I'll read this into record.
Read the resolution to the record. We will then put it up. We're going to need a motion, a second, and we'll put it up for a roll call vote.
Okay, great. right? Everybody bear with me, it's 2 pages here. Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, Morris County, New Jersey, Resolution 2017, Resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, appointing Todd M. Galante, Esquire, Pyro Zena Cefelli, Paris, and Gitempo LLC as special legal counsel for purposes of advising the Township Council on potential conflicts involving Councilman Paul Carifi Jr., voting on the appointments of a township attorney, and other things as set forth in this resolution. Whereas, since October 2011, former Parsippany Troy Hills Police Department Captain James Carifi has been in litigation with the township. And whereas, since that time, James Carifi has filed 2 civil actions against the township, known as Carifi 1, Carifi 3, and the township has filed a civil action against James Carifi known as Carifi 2. Carifi 1, 2, and 3 are collectively referred as the Carifi litigations. And whereas the Carifi litigations involve serious allegations of, among other things, misconduct, retaliation, bribery, and the theft or destruction of a large volume of sensitive data from the township's computer system. And whereas, although the township prevailed in Carifi 1 and Carifi 3 at the trial court level, both actions are currently on appeal before the New Jersey Superior Court Appellate Division. And whereas the trial of Carifi 2 is imminent, as the Superior Court of New Jersey has a set firm return date of January 5th, 2018 for pre-trial motions. And whereas James Carifi is the brother of Township Councilman Paul Carifi Jr., Councilman Carifi, and whereas it is expected that Mayor-elect Michael Soriano will nominate a new plenary township attorney as well as special township counsel at the Township Council's reorganization meeting on January 1st, 2018. The nominated township attorney, and whereas pursuant to the Township Code 4-4, the nominated township attorney shall represent the township in any litigation and conduct trials, appeals, and other proceedings affecting the interests of the township as he may, in his discretion, determine to be necessary or desirable, which necessarily includes Carifi 1, Carifi 2, Carifi 3, and whereas pursuant to Township Code 4-6, should the township attorney be disqualified with respect to any matter, special counsel may be appointed with the approval of the Township Council to represent the township with respect to this matter, which matters may include Carifi 1, 2, and Carifi 3. And whereas Councilman Carifi's position on the Township Council creates the potential for a conflict of interest insofar as Councilman Carifi may seek to exercise his vote on the nominated township attorney, and may special counsel who would have the authority to affect the outcome of the Carifi litigations. Whereas, in light of the foregoing, the Township Council desires to retain special legal counsel pursuant to Township Code 4-6 as Torres versus Municipal Council of the City of Patterson, 2007, 17-12-707, Appellate Division, June 15th, 2007, to serve as special legal counsel to the Township Council, and whereas Todd M. Galante, Esquire, of the firm Pyro Zena Cefelli Paris Gitempo LLC, the Pyro Zema firm, and the Pyro Zena firm, which office address is 360 Passaic Avenue, Nutley, New Jersey, 07110, and currently serves as special legal counsel to the township. And whereas the purpose of this Township Council retaining Mr. Galante and the Pyro Zena firm is to examine an opinion on a potential conflict of interest involving Councilman Carifi that may arise should Councilman Carifi vote on the nominated township attorney or special counsel. And whereas Mr. Galante and the Pyro Zena firm shall prepare and deliver a legal opinion regarding the potential conflict of interest, as well as any other related issue pertaining thereto, the Township Council in writing prior to the reorganization meeting scheduled for January 1st, 2017, which would be 2018. Correction there?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And whereas Mr. Galante and the Pyro Zena firm are hereby further authorized by this resolution to take such other, and further action they deem appropriate to prepare certain pleadings, legal papers, and legal proceedings, including but not limited to, in order to show cause, to obtain declaratory judgment, and whatever appropriate action or other relief as may be appropriate to enforce the purpose and directives of this resolution, and shall file the same with the clerk of the Superior Court of New Jersey should Councilman Karifi vote on the appointment of the nominated township attorney or special counsel, and otherwise fully prosecute a definitive adjudication on said conflict of interest issue, as well as any other related issue or matter rising or related thereto, even if such full adjudication requires appeals. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Township Council, the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, in the County of Morris and the State of New Jersey as follows. 1, that the Township Council hereby retain Todd M. Galante, Esquire, of the firm Pyrozina, Cefelli, Paris, Gitempo, LLC, as well as the firm of Pyrozina, Cefelli, Paris, Gitempo, LLC, whose office address is 360 Passaic Avenue, Nutley, New Jersey, 07110, as special legal counsel collectively, special legal counsel, and 2, that the scope of the special legal counsel's retention shall be to, among other things, examine the aforementioned potential conflict of interest regarding Councilman Karifi, to prepare and deliver to the Township Council a written legal opinion regarding the same, and 3, should Councilman Karifi act contrary to special legal counsel advice, direction, or opinion, special legal counsel B is hereby authorized to take any and all action necessary to prepare and file with the Superior Court of New Jersey an action on behalf of the Township Council challenging Councilman Karifi's said actions, to fully prosecute a definitive adjudication regarding said conflict of interest issue if such full adjudication requires appeals, as well as take such other and further action special legal counsel deem appropriate under these circumstances and in any such litigation, appeals or otherwise. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this resolution, or like to entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mrs. Grani. Roll call.
Mr. Karifi,
Abstain.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mrs. Grignani,
Yes.
Mr. Peluso,
Abstain.
Mr. Valori.
Yes.
We have 3 yes, 2 abstention. The motion passes.
Okay, moving on. We're going to come to the adjournment. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. I have a motion on the floor.
There's a question on the floor. Does not the public get a chance to respond to that?
No, they don't. And I have a motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting. They don't. So I have a
Why
motion
not?
open on the floor to
So-
adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, second by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call.
Mr. Karifi,
Yes.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Grignani,
Yes.
Mr. Peluso,
Yes.
Mr. Valori.
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you.
Now I know why Mayor Inglesino and Mayor Barbario are not here.
Everyone have a good night.
Chickens.